All right, Turtle in Paradise, Chapter 14. Lying, stealing, no good kids. It's a fact. If a kid is being nice, he's probably up to no good. I guarantee you some kid was behind the Titanic sinking. He probably offered to steer the ship so the captain could go get a cup of tea. Well, we tell Aunt Minnie what Porkchop and Ira are telling their mothers, that we're going to wake up early and go fishing for conch so that they can make conch stew for Labor Day. That's nice, Aunt Minnie says. Too bad your father won't be here to enjoy it. Ira is waiting for us on the porch when we walk out into the dark. The sun's not even up yet. He's got a roll of maps in one hand and a shovel in the other, and a canteen slung on his shoulder. The lane is empty except for a black cat with a streak of white down its back, skulking around. It looks like a skunk. Where's Porkchop? I ask. He's been in charge of getting us a boat. Here he comes, Bean says. Porkchop's running down the street, huffing and puffing. He's carrying a bulging sack. What's that? I ask. Mommy was worried that we'd be hungry, so she made us breakfast and lunch and some snacks too. We walk quickly through the quiet streets. The only person we pass is Killy the horse driving his sorry wagon. At the docks, boats bob in the water. Which one's ours? I ask Porkchop. Right here, he says, stopping in front of a boat with a motor. He hops in and the boys pile in after him. Sure is nice, I say. And fast, Kermit adds. Rum runners need fast boats, Ira agrees. Wait a minute, I say. Whose boat is this? Johnny Cake's, Porkchop says. Johnny Cake is letting us use his boat? Porkchop shrugs. Not exactly, but he'll never know. He's in Cuba. We're stealing Johnny Cake's boat, I exclaim. We ain't stealing it, Beans clarifies. We're borrowing it. The sun is high and hot. Everyone has caps on except me, and I can feel my cheeks baking. I should have listened to Slowpoke about wearing a hat. In fact, I probably should have just waited until he got back, because if Slowpoke and Ollie were Fred Astaire and Ginger, then Porkchop and Beans were Laurel and Hardy, with Ira and Kermit thrown in as a couple of stooges. They bang around the boat, tripping over each other and arguing about which way to go and who gets to be the captain. We circled the same key again and again and seemed to be completely lost. At this rate, we really might end up in China. Finally, the little key with the shack is in sight, and I can hardly believe it. We sail as close as we can, and then Beans hollers, Throw in the hook, Porkchop. Everyone leaps into the shallows with their shovels and wades to shore. Ira unfolds the map and looks around. We just need to find this tree, he says, tapping the paper. It looks like a Y. I look into the thick jungle and remember something that Archie told me. I hate selling in the country, he says. The trees fall, roads get washed out, nature changes things. Sometimes you can hardly recognize a place you were at a year before. How old do you think this map is? I ask. Ira studies it. Pretty old, I guess. Then the trees are all going to be different, I say. Might not even be around here anymore. Porkchop doesn't care. He grabs a shovel and walks into the thick brush. Follow me, he says. I got a nose for treasure. By late afternoon, we're hot, dirty, and exhausted. We've dug a dozen holes all over the key, and all we found is a whole lot of nothing. It's like looking for a hair on Mr. Edgett's head. Porkchop flings his shovel at a tree with a growl of frustration. You got a nose for dirt, I say. I think I'll buy some ice cream with my share of the treasure, Kermit says, nibbling on a bollo. Porkchop grunts. Your share? All you've done is eat. I got a weak heart, Kermit says. But not a weak stomach, Beans observes. You better not eat all the bollos. Maybe we're just looking in the wrong spot, Ira says, wiping a filthy hand across his forehead. Beans is staring at the ground, a scowl on his face. There's no right spot. We all look at him. The map's not real. He shakes a finger. I think mean old Nana Philly put it there knowing that we would find it. But Beans, Ira says, this doesn't make any sense. If she knew about the map, don't you think she would have mentioned it to somebody a long time ago? Nobody can keep a secret in Key West. You know she hates kids, Beans counters. Yeah, Porkchop says in a quick agreement. That'd be just like her. We've been had, fellas, Beans says and points at me. Should have known better than to listen to a girl. This is why we don't let girls in the diaper gang in the first place, Porkchop says. Ira looks at me disappointment clear in his eyes, but Beans is not to be denied. Let's go, Porkchop, Beans says. Maybe we'll make it back in time to get some ice cream. You said it, pal, Porkchop says, and then they start walking. I say we try that nickel on the bottom trick. Ira and Kermit linger with me. They don't want to give up on my dream either. They're right, I say. I must have been crazy to believe in something like pirate treasure. Ira sighs. Come on, I say. We better go, or they'll leave us here. I've only taken a few steps when my foot catches on something, and I go tumbling backward, and my bottom is hitting something on the ground hard. Ow, I cry, and look down at the culprit, a thick stone the size of Buddy's head. You okay, Turtle? Ira asks. Porkchop looks back at me on the ground and starts laughing. Look, she fell on her bungie. Beans joins in, hooting and laughing. And a moment later, I start laughing too. I can't help it because it is funny. It's the funniest thing ever. I laugh and laugh and laugh. Porkchop and Beans stop laughing and look at each other like they think that I've gone loony. You think the sun's getting to her? Porkchop asks. I'm still laughing. My bungie found it, I say. My bungie found it. What is she talking about? Beans asks, walking back. That, Ira says, staring at the stone. I tripped over. It has a letter C carved in it. C. So what? Porkchop says. It's a U. Have you ever even been to school? I ask. It's a C. Beans sucks in his breath. For Black Caesar, Ira whispers.